Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Jose here, welcoming you to another episode of Amazing Worlds, where today I am going to be reviewing A Crown of Swords, which is book 7 of the Wheel of Time series by American author Robert Jordan, originally published in 1996. So, we are firmly into the slog territory, the infamous slog in the Wheel of Time series. So, let me tell you what I think about this book. But, warning, let me tell you. If you person watching me talking about this book is one of these Wheel of Time fanatics that cannot hear anything bad about the Wheel of Time, this is your time to stop watching, disconnect, and get on with something else with your life. If you are one of those Wheel of Time fanatics who actually acknowledges and admits that there are flaws with the series, please continue watching, like, subscribe, and comment, mostly comment, and let me know how much you agree or disagree with what I'm about to say. Because if you are regular to the channel, if you've been following my adventure, my reading of the Wheel of Time series, you will know I don't hate it, I'm not liking it, I'm not enjoying it either. We are now firmly into me being stubborn, wanting to finish the Wheel of Time. This is not out of enjoyment. So, to summarize this book, it's a bit similar to the previous one, book 6, whatever it was, don't really care. A lot of people talking, not a lot happening. Now, up to this point, the infamous descriptions, the oversaturated clothing descriptions and world building kind of, that Robert Jordan is sort of criticized for didn't bother me. I didn't really care. Until this book. I'm sick and tired of the intricate descriptions of the lace and the collar and the turtleneck and this and that and the other that everyone is wearing that leads absolutely nowhere. It is tedious. It is boring. I don't get off on it. It doesn't really add anything for me at this stage of the series. Halfway through a 14-book mammoth series, I don't really want to read about clothes. It really does nothing for me. It's just padding. Then, this book was Overkill.
Overkill! Overkill! Overkill!
Overkill with the amount of characters and the amount of named characters. And that's not to say I cannot cope with big series with lots of characters. I loved A Song of Ice and Fire. I wish George would finish that and we could really get a satisfying ending there, so I don't really care. But here, the problem is situation. Someone is meeting someone else, right? So, Johnny is meeting Timmy. Timmy has to bring bodyguards. So we got Johnny, Timmy, and Timmy brings Billy and Tilly. Billy and Tilly play no role whatsoever in the exchange between Johnny and Timmy. But we've got Billy and Tilly. If you're going to name Billy and Tilly and you're going to describe what they look like, this is a bit like Chekhov's gun. They must be important for something. They must have a role to play, right? Otherwise, why do you introduce me to these two characters that have got absolutely so little to do with the conversation that is happening, with the plot, with character growth? They add nothing to the story other than just confusion, because the guy is just running out of names and he's getting a bit samey, and I do know who these people are, don't care about them, they add nothing to my life. Overkill in terms of name, characters, and just generally people. Just say that Johnny met Timmy and Timmy brought 2 bodyguards. End of story. That's it. That's okay. And then there's all this bickering between women that leads nowhere. Is just boring. It is frankly boring. The book was boring. Okay. And then the other thing that Robert Jordan is famously criticized for, but again, now it's to the point where it stopped being a joke, it stopped being something kind of cutesy and funny, like a quirk of the series. Now it's just verging on the guy needed treatment, right? Every single woman he describes in the series has got big boobs. Robert Jordan must have liked the titties. He had a paraphilia about titties because every single time he's describing a woman or what a woman's wearing, there are plunging necklines, there are exuberant bosoms falling over all sides and everywhere, and even when the women have got turtleneck tops up, covered, no, there's a big oval opening on the chest so the boobs can. It's ridiculous. The guy was clearly fixated. The guy was clearly obsessed with boobs, and I actually criticized me for this. I did a Google search, Robert Jordan's wife, right, his editor that didn't do any editing, to see whether maybe the lady was well endowed, and I don't know, maybe she was satisfying Jordan's fixation with boobs. I don't know. It turns out she's not. So maybe the guy was disappointed and he was just projecting everything, all his unfulfilled sexual desire. It was just weird, okay? And it's just in bad taste. I've not read a single book, even those weird, crappy, quasi-porn, sexy, erotic stories thing. They don't even objectify women like that. This is just bad. It is terrible. It's absolutely objectionable on every page, at every count. It is ridiculous. Jordan can't write romance. His characters are terrible. Nynaeve, I truly despise. So finally, by the way, I haven't planned this review. This is all coming as a sort of stream of consciousness thing as I'm going along. So please, there's no structure here. Don't criticize me for that. Cope. Nynaeve, right? This super annoying chick, super annoying, always tugging at her bra. Just one of the tugging at her bra. Every woman, going back to the previous point, whenever they cross their arms, they cross them under the breast because I thought, breast, boobs, clipped. Anyway, Nynaeve, finally, she reunites with the guy that she fell in love that no one knew that was happening. Like literally, we turn a page in book one, and she was in love with Lan. Anyway, so they finally reconnect after being apart for like a super long time, and she starts slapping the guy around. He just literally starts slapping his face. What is that all about? Now, I kind of get Wheel of Time. Right? I get what Robert Jordan was trying to do. He was trying to move away from traditional fantasy of good versus evil, big battle, epic scope, and it's more about getting everyone, it's not about the big battle, it's more about getting everyone to work together type thing, unite all the nations against the common end. That's kind of the intrigue and the meat and potatoes of the story is. I get that. But allow me to say, it's not very well done. And that, in my opinion, everything that Robert Jordan tried to do in The Wheel of Time, other authors have done much better elsewhere. So, I did a check as well. I had a quick look-see on the interweb. Like, how many awards did The Wheel of Time win? None. No awards whatsoever. No, okay, hang on. I get it, because as I said, I've done the searching. So, The Wheel of Time in 2014 won the Hugo Award for like kind of lifetime achievement, like big series. But it was like a posthumous. It was after Jordan's death, and it was a petition that came from the fan base to like a lifetime achievement type thing. But in its time, as the books were being published, none of them won a single significant award. Now, I'm not saying that winning awards is the be-all or end-all of fantasy writing. Of course, I'm not saying that. But it kind of tells us something. Harry Potter won stuff. The Song of Ice and Fire won stuff. This is just not... It's just not very good literary value. The writing is clunky. The editing is totally absent. And I think the attempt and the book's kind of fall into a pattern where people talk. There's a lot more talking. People travel somewhere, they talk, and eventually there's some kind of attempt at a final battle. jazz things up a little bit at the end, and that doesn't happen. Well, it kind of happens here, but that just final battle confrontation type thing is not really satisfying. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't resolve anything. And another thing that Jordan does in the books, right, which is irritating, again, is the panic, is the lack of editing. So, say we're introduced to the villain of the volume. So, in this book 7, there's a villain, which we haven't met at all throughout the series. So the villain of the week, that thing of the month, episode, whatever. All of a sudden, we get POV chapters from that villain's point of view that we haven't got in the last 6 books, and that we're probably not going to get ever again. So it's just like, I don't need to know what he thinks. It takes it away from the story. In this book, the girls go and meet a circle of kind of rejected Sedai, and there's a bit of an intrigue. Do they not know what the girls are looking for type thing? Fine. But then in the next chapter, we get the point of view from these rejected ladies thing, like, oh, these young girls, what's going on? Like, totally unnecessary. It could be cut off. I can see why the slog is sloggy. It really, it's not great at all. But reflecting a bit more so far on the series as a whole, I get what Robert Jordan was trying to do. So move away from traditional Tolkien type fantasy thing, good versus evil, the quest, the chosen one, the magical items, and do something else. But I think he fails at everything that strong words. He's not very good at anything he tries. He can't write romance. I don't like the combat at all. The descriptions, those sword forms thing, boulders falling off the mountain, whatever. I don't like it. The magic system, he's trying to do something different. It's starting to make sense now. I kind of like the way it's not really explained, but it's sort of starting to make sense to me kind of halfway through the series. 7 books, it could have been done a little bit earlier. So in all those aspects, if you want intrigue, just go read Song of Ice and Fire. If you want to empower women and have women at the forefront, read through the Canavan. If you want a bit more character-driven type stories, read Robin Hobb. If you like your magic systems a bit harder and a bit more novel, read Brandon Sanderson, even Brent Weeks. If you like action fight scenes, go and read John Gwynne. If you like really cool characters, dark, gritty, different, stupid, twisted, whatever, Song of Ice and Fire, Joe Abercrombie, First Blood trilogy, and probably everything else he's written, because he used to be quite good at it. I get it. Maybe credit where it's due for trying to do something else, a moving, and maybe perhaps I'm willing to consider, maybe if it wasn't for Wheel of Time, we wouldn't have some of the great fantasy or different fantasy that we've got today. But doesn't mean I have to like it, doesn't mean I'm enjoying it. At the moment, I'm just plowing through it, and I'll see where it takes me. I've already started on book 8, and in the first 100 pages, there's still people just talking. That's all that is happening. So the slog continues. Anyway, this is all I had for today. As usual, thank you ever so much for watching. If you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Have I got this right? Have I got this wrong? I know the book's not for me at the moment. Like I said before, I'm just being stubborn. It's when I read it. It's not for me. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. Hopefully, you appreciate where my criticisms for the books are coming from, and I think they are valid, and I totally accept. It's a matter of taste. Some people will love it. I don't. And that's okay. And for me, the bads outweigh the good. And, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And if you really love the Wheel of Time, I hope you're okay with me not being okay with it, type thing. please, please, please take loads and loads of care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.